So Apple just unveiled a lot of cool new tech. One being the Apple Watch, which has been talked about for a long time now, and that will be coming out next month, but primarily they focused on the new 12-inch Retina MacBook. And there's a lot of good about this computer, but there's also a lot of weird that may not seem good to a lot of people. So this video is here to show you things you need to know before picking up one of the new 12-inch MacBooks. First off, this thing is tiny. And when I say tiny, I mean like small. This comes in at 2 pounds, which is a pound smaller and lighter than the 13-inch MacBook Air. And I mean, that was pretty light as it is, but they really wanted to make it portable and versatile for anywhere you go. So they made it a pound lighter, and at its thickest point, it's 13 millimeters, and it's super tiny. So that should be pretty nice for portability and usability on the go. One of my favorite things about this new 12-inch MacBook Retina is that how it has not a single fan in it, which is pretty cool. And it's like that because it has an Intel M processor, and that is a 1.1 gigahertz clock speed, and it has 5 output watts of power. So it really doesn't produce much heat as it is, so they don't really need a fan. So that means it'll be really nice and quiet, and it won't produce much heat. So that's pretty cool. So one thing that'll be nice for all the people out there that were looking for a little bit more variety in colors on their MacBooks, Apple has implemented a gold model and also a space gray model, which is on the iPhones. So now you'll have a little bit more options color-wise of which MacBook you get. So that should be pretty nice. And I'd personally probably go with the space gray because it has a really nice clean look to it. The silver is a little boring, but I think that gray is just a little nicer. So the new MacBook will be featuring a 12-inch 2304 by 1440p display. And this is a 226 ppi, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's got the Retina branding that they've been talking about, but honestly, it does look pretty good on these MacBooks, I think. It has really nice vivid colors, so that should be really nice in this new MacBook. So in this part, Apple, you really could have done a lot better of a job. So basically, since the 12-inch MacBook is so thin and light, they could not implement a lot of ports. So they put one port that transfers your display, your power, and all your data. And that's going to be USB Type-C, which I covered in my CES roundup if you want to check that out. I'll link that in the description. But really, it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run because you're going to be stuck buying a lot of different adapters for different displays like VGA if you want to run that, or HDMI, DVI, or get a USB 2.0 or 3.0 port. It's really just going to cost you a lot of money. Like Apple makes adapters, but they retail for like $80. I mean, obviously there's going to be third-party ones that will come out, or may have already come out at this point, but that you could pick up. But ultimately, it's just going to charge you a lot more, and it's going to be sort of an inconvenience for people that do want to pick up this 12-inch Retina MacBook. So Apple did a little upgrading on their keyboard game, and meaning that basically they made it so that now each key switch is illuminated via an LED instead of like a strip of LEDs, so it'll be a little bit nicer looking, it'll be probably brighter. And also, the keys are, instead of like what's called the scissor type of key switch, which is basically wherever you press it sort of folds in, and then that's how the key switch works. But Apple's designed a new system called the butterfly mechanism. And basically it means wherever you type on the key, wherever you press, it basically is always going to give you that even distribution and allow you to press the key and make it feel just as much as if you did it on a different part. So really, it's a pretty cool system actually. And they did this because they didn't have a lot of room to fit in like a whole keyboard that had a lot of more features and that could be more comfortable, but they did a good job considering the space that they were given. So that's pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to this in this new MacBook. So along with the new keyboard, Apple has changed up their trackpad. So I'm sure you felt this before on a laptop, how the top left and right of your touchpad are like less usable basically than the bottom left and right. So Apple has decided to make a system where wherever you press, you feel the same distribution. And there's also no more right clicking on the Macs. Now it's all left clicking, and like basically the harder you push down will activate different gestures, and there's a lot of different technology that's built into it. So it's actually really cool the way that Apple set it all up. So one question you're probably asking is, how's the battery life on this small computer? And actually it's pretty good considering the size of it. It has a lot of space actually for the battery because the logic board aka the motherboard on Apple, is really tiny, so it gives them a lot of space for the battery. So it will have 9 hours of web browsing time and 10 hours of video playback, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best battery life, but it will definitely get you through a day. So honestly, I think it's pretty decent. It'll be just fine. So for pricing on the new 12-inch MacBook, for $12.99, you'll have a 1.1 gigahertz dual-core Intel M processor. And this is pretty mediocre, honestly. I mean, it's not really the best. And then if you upgrade to $15.99, you get a 1.2 gigahertz Intel M processor, and that's also a dual core, and that turbos up to 2.6 gigahertz. And the one for $12.99 turbos up to 2.4 gigahertz. But still, those are very mediocre clock speeds considering the price. I mean, you could build something that's a much better value, or you can buy something else like a PC. But that's typically how Apple goes. They give you not the best stuff for a pretty high price. But typically, the hardware turns out pretty good, so I definitely like to see how it performs in day-to-day use. So as you can see, this is a pretty interesting computer, to say the least. For me, it looks like an iPad with a keyboard attached. That's what I think. But you probably think something different, so leave it in the comments of what you think. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next ones. See ya!